in Nigeria. But if I ask a question, take a statistics or a survey, how many of actually remember the budget of our local government?
First of all, what I said earlier on, when it comes to information technology, cybersecurity, still boils down to capacity training. Training in a small sense means you teach, someone learns, and then they grow with whatever they have learned and continue to improve themselves. So when we're talking of, for instance, technology, nowadays in nursery schools, primary schools, and everything, there's ICT. They have to keep training them, not just in normal information technology. You have to make sure that they understand that there are challenges and there are always solutions. And it's every day or every time you keep updating yourself. And also, you don't have to forget areas of cyber security. When you have WhatsApp, you have to also understand the consequences of using that WhatsApp on your phone. That if you click the wrong thing, you can get some things into your system. There are basic trainings, and this has to be put in every area. For instance, if you're in any office or you're in nursery school, you're growing up, because many of us have grown up and then technology now caught up with us. So it's difficult to marry those two together. But now, as we evolve and new things keep evolving, we are growing into it. Training, capacity development needs to follow up with it. So with an average person, especially even children that have not been to school, they have a little bit of idea on IT, information technology. And wherever they get that idea from, they need to understand and they need to be put towards the direction of training. That's why I made it a very key point in my expressive 2 minutes that capacity development is very important. I also said you're only as weak as you're only as strong as your weakest link. I hope he answers the question. Thank you.
Just 1 second. I think what he's trying to say is how do we break the digital divide across culture and languages. One of the things we need to do in activating our national cybersecurity awareness program is to ensure that how do we begin to communicate things to people in our local languages, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in Igbo, and all the languages we have. These messages will go down to the people. Everybody's trying to use the phone, go to the villages where there is communication infrastructure. Everybody's trying to use the phone. So what am I trying to say in essence is, whatever we need to do, I'm not aware of what we're doing, but what we need to be doing is, in that program, we need to be able to break the divide in terms of languages. I remember when I went to South Korea, most of their phones are configured in their language. So when do we begin to do that? I think when we start that, it will really take us far. Thank you.
Last comment.
Well, starting from what the gentleman said, funnily, Facebook has basic cyber hygiene literature in Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. So we have a policy in place. The challenge for us, Nigerians, a lot of the time is not even about writing the laws and all. We have a very robust national cybersecurity policy and strategy in place. The implementation plan is drawn up, but implementation and funding, adequately funding that implementation is the issue. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. For example, why do I have, in an interaction with Facebook, actually the chief security officer for Facebook, we got copies of what they had done by way of awareness in 3 of the major Nigerian languages. If we do our own bit, even if it's just to replicate that, we can actually reach the villages. So the person using his phone in Yoruba land, in Igbo land, doesn't need to speak English. And then, the other thing about cybercrime, or crimes generally and telecommunications, is the fact that, you see, we have a comparative advantage. We can actually code. We can decide to code in Yoruba. We can decide to code in Igbo. It makes it a lot more difficult because the average person coding everywhere or most of the place is using English language or Russian or Chinese. We need to build that capacity. Again, cyber capacity building, and not just speaking the Turanchi about it. Let us actually pay attention to the implementation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the only lady here, 1 second.
Done. Okay, I strongly believe that Nigeria has great potential, economically and culturally, and greater than it ever imagined. I was born in this country, and if you recall 10, 15 years ago, our parents suffered so we could go to school. So Nigerians are now educated. The things for which we planned for have started happening. We're a young generation in this country. That means we can code, we can read and write. There is no point putting us in darkness anymore. Nigerians can read, and they can read complicated things. So the earlier we get involved in good governance, the better for this country. Last of all, if you can deal with Ebola the way you dealt with it, when your life depended on it, when governors had to come down to radio stations, I recall they were speaking every single language of every Nigerian. When we get to that point, when fiscal transparency and good governance becomes the lifeline of this country, we will deal with it the way we dealt with Ebola. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, the distinguished speakers and panelists. One thing that came out of this, in summary, is that everybody is involved. You and I are involved. And we start by creating awareness. The little you know, begin to pass it to others. And like what we say, you know, my daughter, little daughter, who is in secondary school, if you see how she uses computer, it's with marvels. And it's almost compelling that for you to write JAMB, you must have to know how to use PC. So the younger generation, they have no option, and they are, already aware. It's the older generation, like you and I, that need to bridge the gap. And I think with what we have known and what we are learning, will help our colleagues. So on this note, I want to thank you for having time, patiently to listen to this discussion, and also appreciate your wonderful contribution. Thank you very much.
And the panelists for that intellectually stimulating and eye-opening discussion. Before we call on the last plenary of the day, we have decided to just take the last plenary before we